Welcome to the Path Less Travel podcast. I'm your host, Craig Heatherly, and this week we feature the CEO of the Boys and Girls Club of Elkhart County, Tami Hicks.
Hello.
Tami, hello. Are you more excited today about Purdue basketball or the Solar Eclipse?
I'm more excited about Purdue basketball. We haven't been to a national championship in a very long time, and in 2017 we had an eclipse. So when it comes to looking at the chance of this happening, I'm excited about basketball.
Well, you said we.
We,
meaning
I'm on the team, right?
You got some affiliation
Sure.
with Purdue. What is it?
Sure. So I'm about to finish my PhD at Purdue University this week, actually. So I'm hoping I can leave there, passed and done, and I'm really excited to have time to watch basketball again. So,
And how long have you been doing that for?
I started August of 2020. So this has been, 3.5, 4 years. It's been a labor of love and struggles and tears and highs and lows, but it's been a lifelong dream of mine. So I'm excited about it.
All right. Well, a few more fun questions to get started here. Favorite thing to do on weekends?
Be outside in the dirt. So flowers, weeding, or sitting by the pool.
Okay, if you had a free day, what is like the optimal free day for Tami Hicks?
Doing nothing. Getting a massage.
Getting a massage.
Getting a massage, yeah. And
Got
doing
it.
nothing.
Well, I know you a little bit, so here's a good question. Would you much rather have a paper clip or paper cut, or eat sweet potatoes?
Have paper cut. Hands down, paper cut. Gross. Sweet potatoes are nasty.
For the record, she says she'd much rather have a paper cut than eat a sweet potato.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Yes, I just do not like them. You don't put marshmallows on potatoes. I don't know.
Well, tell us about the uniqueness of the Boys and Girls Club of Elkhart County.
Sure. So our organization is unique in that we are providing kids with opportunities, engaging opportunities on a consistent basis. And so we know that our kids are going to do better in school. We know that they're going to do better in the future if you build their background knowledge. And you build that background knowledge by giving them opportunities and experiences. So we get our kids after school and we give them every opportunity to explore that we possibly can. From STEM labs and robotics, and we just had a whole bunch go on college visits and do overnight stays and just providing kids with opportunities.
Now, is that just after, like during the school year? Do you guys do stuff in the summer?
We
Talk us through kind
do.
of the full range of services.
So during the summer, our doors are open from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So we have an early bird because we know parents still have to go to work. So we have some kids that come from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. in the summer, and we feed them and we love on them and we provide them with a safe place to be. And we provide those opportunities too. Summers gives us an opportunity to really go explore beyond the confines of the town that they live in because we have more time with them during the day. So a lot of opportunity there. And we have a kids care division, and that's before and after school as well. So we work within the school calendar, but then in the summer we have camps and we have all sorts of opportunities for kids too.
That means you've got to have a big team. And I know team means a lot here because you've got a few different teams within employees and board. Talk to about the team.
So we are unique in that we have 6 boards. So I have a board of trustees, and I have a board for each community. So a Goshen board, Elkhart board, Napanee board, and a Middlebury board. And then we have a foundation. So the Boys and Girls Clubs of Elkhart County Foundation has their own board. So a lot of moving parts and a lot of people, but every one of those people are invested in our mission. And that is something that truly makes us unique in that I have 126 champions for our organization in the community of Elkhart County. So that is really critical to our success, and they are our biggest cheerleaders. And so our boards are incredible human beings.
Okay, so I'm going to rewind a little bit. You said 126 champions, which is your 126 board members.
Board members, yeah.
It's one thing to manage a team. It's another thing to I'm not going to say you manage the board. Maybe you do. What's that dynamic like? I mean, 126 individuals.
Yeah, and we have within our strategic plan and within our mission that we work as one. Our Goshen board is very focused on working on developing programs and monitoring policy and advising the Board of Trustees on what's happening in Goshen at our Goshen Club. Same for Elkhart, same for Napanee, same for Middlebury. And so when each of those presidents come to the Board of Trustees to share out, they're explaining to the whole Board of Trustees what's going on within our community. So it keeps everyone connected with a pulse on what's happening in our organization. And so we might be separate communities with separate boards, but we're working together as one. So they say, one of my favorite quotes, if you want to go fast, go alone. And if you want to go far, go as a team. And so we are a team working towards the sustainability of our organization.
Yeah, you mentioned the reporting of what's happening. What is up next for the club?
That's a great question. A lot of different moving parts. And so we are expanding to Noble County. So
wow.
We will have 2 kids care locations or school-based sites in Noble County. And then we're working on some other neighboring counties to the east to serve more kids, because kids after school need something productive to do. So working on expanding and growing that way. We are really working on focusing on recruiting teams and getting team membership to increase and what we call average daily attendance. So we want our teens to be showing up at club and participating in our programs. And we're talking 13 to 18-year-olds, not just high school, but the teen and tween spectrum. And so we're really working on making sure we're offering programming that's appealing to them so that they want to be a part of what we do. And so with that comes workforce development, workforce readiness, making sure that they are exposed to as many different career paths as possible, working in tandem with the 7 school districts that we serve in Elkhart County and now 2 in Noble County as well. So we're just really looking at how do we give our kids, even up to the age of 18, the best experience possible so that they can be productive citizens as they move into adulthood.
So the name of this podcast is A Path Less Traveled.
Yeah.
And you absolutely have a path less traveled within just your life and your leadership journey. Walk us through just when you started kind of walking into and stepping into this leadership position, not just here at the club, but in your life, and kind of where you're at today. And maybe people along the way that have just influenced you. Go ahead.
Sure, that's a loaded question.
It
so,
is.
2019, I had completed, or I was in my first year at IUSB and had my son Ethan. And Ethan is a very special young man. So he's 23 now, and he was diagnosed in 2001 with Angelman syndrome. So a rare neurological disorder. He's nonverbal, seizures, many different things that go along with that. And it was at that time that I decided that I'm not going to become a statistic. I don't want to become someone who's not pursuing her dream. And I wanted to make sure that I could provide Ethan with the best life possible. So had Ethan, had a full-time job in a local factory. I was working in order entry. They were very good to me, and they pushed me to, they worked with me in a way that pushed me to say, hey, I need to go back to school and I need to fulfill my own dreams and mission. So decided to go re-enroll in college at IUSB and got my bachelor's degree in elementary education and secondary middle school. I love middle school kids. I love all kids, but I really love 7th graders. So I started teaching, had my dream job, my dream grade and subject right out the bat, and started teaching. And then someone said to me, hey, have you ever thought about getting into coaching or being an instructional coach? And actually that was Lisa Younghans and Libby Moracle and a couple of other people that I worked with. And I was like, no, I hadn't thought of that. So then I started thinking and I applied and I got a position as a master teacher. So then I began coaching teachers on best practice instruction, and I was learning myself along the way. And then someone, Jan Baker, one of my dearest friends, said, hey, you would be awesome as an administrator. Have you ever thought about crossing to the dark side? And I was like, no. But then I started thinking, and I was like, yeah. And so then I became an assistant principal. And at the time, it was the 4th largest middle school in the state of Indiana. So there were 1,600 middle school age kids. That's 11 to 14-year-old.
1,600 middle school kids.
Yes. So
Oh,
never a dull moment.
wow.
Never a dull moment. And some of the hardest working individuals come from Goshen Junior High. I would say anyone working in a junior high or middle school setting, it's incredible. Stories for days. But then I became a principal, and I was principal at Model Elementary School in Goshen, and loved it, absolutely loved it. And a seed was planted about Kevin Deary leaving this position and applying for this. And I wasn't looking to leave, but I have no desire to be a superintendent, and about to finish my PhD. And I was just, am I going to be a principal for the next 20 years of my career? What's the next step? And so it was, I say, a sign from God, how it all unfolded, that I applied. And if it was meant to be, it was meant to be. And here I am. So this has truly been a dream job, learning all of the parts, but I feel like this is where I'm supposed to be right now. And that feels really good. So
That's a great place to be.
yeah, it is. It really is. Scary to take that leap of faith.
Yeah, so walk
careers.
us through that. I mean, we're talking about a completely change. I did it, and I know there's a lot of people in my life that helped me navigate that.
Yeah.
How did you do it?
Yeah, so it's just learning a whole new world. So being very connected with the schools, now I get to work with many different school districts. So I get to see life outside of the world I knew for 18 years. And that has been incredible. To learn how other districts do things and their struggles and their strengths. So I would say that a lot of the superintendents have been very helpful in guiding me. Dr. Ellen Metcalf has been very great, and I call him coach. And so just having support to talk through, how do you work with 6 boards? How do you raise money? I mean, so now if there's something I want to do, I don't have to jump through education politics. I have to raise the money to do it, and that's a different focus, but same mission, but different way of doing it. And and I would say all of our board members have been incredibly supportive and helpful. The staff here has been amazing and given grace, and really important to have a solid team around you, whatever that team may look like. So they've all been very helpful in my transition into this role.
Yeah. Well, you're in both careers, you're pouring out into people. And I guess my question, when you hear leaders that are in that position where they're just giving, how do you fill your tank?
Oh, I fill my tank with my family, so my husband and Ethan, and I always believe that everybody should have something to look forward to. So finding what you enjoy and planning it out so that you have something to look forward to. So we've always got concerts lined up, or we've got a trip lined up. So Brian and we're going to go to Iceland. It's been on our bucket list. So we're going to go the end of June. So you always have to have something to look forward to. So doing things like that fill my bucket. Hanging out with Jan, again, concerts are a big thing, travel, shopping, doing nothing. That's how I fill my bucket. Take a day, do nothing. It's needed when you're constantly peopling, right? And doing work like that. Yeah.
Somebody told me weeks ago, when somebody brings something up twice in a conversation, you should probably unpack that a little bit. So you've now mentioned concerts twice.
Yeah.
What is your favorite concert? Or favorite person to see live?
Lady Gaga.
Hands down.
Hands down, Lady Gaga. Madonna's been great too. No, never a dull moment there either, but Lady Gaga, hands down. Jan has seen her like 10 times. I think I've seen her 4 or 5. Got to see her with Tony Bennett. That was amazing. Sitting next to this little elderly couple in their 90s, listening to Lady Gaga. It was great. Yeah, Gaga, for sure. And I've seen a lot of people in concert. So, love live music.
Love live music.
Love it.
And where does that come from?
My dad was a DJ, and so I grew up with music, always, constantly music. And he went to a lot of concerts too. And so took me to see the Monkees in 1987 in Daytona. Weird Al opened for the Monkees. I was 7 years old. We went out and we watched the shuttle take off, and then went in and watched the concert. And I remember it all very vividly.
Wow.
So, and then from there, saw Neil Diamond, Moody Blues, got to go to a lot of concerts with my dad. So, yeah.
What's one of the things that you're most proud of?
One of the things that I'm most proud of.
And it could be here at the club, it could be at home, it could be in changing careers, whatever it may be. What comes to mind?
I am proud of the fact that when things have gotten really tough and I feel like there is no way to move past it, like I've explored all options to problem solve and it seems like there's no way to move forward, that I continue to push and press to move forward. It would have been really easy to say, I have a bachelor's degree, I'm good, I don't need any more. Like, I have a master's degree, I don't need to stop, or I have an EDS, I don't need to, but to keep going and pushing. I miss being able to read for fun. I miss being able to, purge a closet and not think about all the other things that I need to be doing to work on this dissertation, but just having maybe the stamina or the grit to keep pushing through. And that is because of my friends and my family and the people in my cohort. So I think my ultimate personal achievement that I'm really proud of will be earning my PhD. And I was a single teenage mom. So that'll be a huge accomplishment. Hoping I pass one day. So if I got this far and I don't, but.
I think most people are, in different periods of their life, they're one or two steps away from a breakthrough. And some stay with it, some stick with it. You mentioned, you're proud of doing that.
Yeah.
There's been failure along the way.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a favorite failure?
Oh, there are a lot of them. Favorite failure. Oh my goodness. Sometimes the smallest failures can be the biggest, most life-changing. A favorite failure. Man, I have to think. Can we come back to that one?
We can absolutely come back to that one.
Because there are so many. I have to figure out which one. which one might be the highlight.
Well, you're now in your dream job, and I'd like to know, what's one of the hardest things about leadership?
One of the hardest things about leadership would be you really truly learn to care about the people that you work with on your team. And it's one of those things that you have to face in leadership, is having tough conversations with people. And this is, this career and my former career, because you have to do what's best for your organization. When you really care about someone, tough conversations can be difficult to have. And so coming about it in a way that shows you really truly care and you want their best interest, you have their best interest in mind. And so that coaching is really important. And to get people to self-reflect on their own growth and progress is something that's really important. And it's an art. There's an art to it.
Yeah.
So, it's easy to come in and hammer down on somebody and tell them all the things that they've done wrong, but to do it in a way that is pressure but support at the same time. So that would be something. And then, of course, trying to think of new ways and creative ways to share our story. And we always have stories from kids, but I think just making sure that our stories are being heard is something that you don't want to oversaturate a market, or oversaturate or tell the same story over and over. So looking for creative ways to engage the community and share our story.
Yeah,
it's something it's a challenge, but it's a problem-solving thing that we have a great team that work through that.
Self-reflect.
Yeah.
If you were to, and I don't know, not many leaders do this. You're always focused on what's next, and you're tackling the next challenge. Let's take a step back. Let's reflect on just Tami Hicks and what you've been able to accomplish, whether it's at the club or in your previous career or just with family dynamics. Do you take time to reflect upon your journey and the success that you've had as an individual? And if you haven't, take some time right now and just think about that. What comes to mind when you hear that question?
Reflecting on the journey. What comes to mind? The journey is exhausting, right? So keeping keeping centered and grounded, but then continuing to push forward can be exhausting. And finding a way to re-energize and rejuvenate is really important, but hard work isn't easy. And I think that making sure that you take time for yourself, have something to look forward to. When I think about the journey, I think about, man, that was exhausting, but I did it, and I was able to accomplish something by pushing forward and taking some time to take care of myself and be with family. I don't know if that answers your question or not, but it's rewarding. It's great to see kids. So for the last 20 years, it's all been focused on kids. So when you do something and you work really hard and you're exhausted and tired, a good tired and a good exhausted, and then being able to see a kid be able to go and do something as a direct or indirect, what am I trying to say? Everything that we did was so that these kids could have these opportunities. And when you see those opportunities happen, it's so fulfilling and important. Or, I had a very upset parent probably 5 or 6 years ago, and we worked through a situation together, and just about a week ago, she reached out to me on Facebook, and I thought we had ended on not so great terms.
Wow.
But for her to come back and say, my child did this and this and this and this, and I just want to thank your staff for all that they did for us, because we wouldn't be here if that wouldn't have happened. Those are the types of moments where you're like, that situation was really hard, but it's paying off now. And oftentimes, most of the time, we don't see the end results. We try, especially here, we try to stay connected with our kids when they go into adulthood, but that's the stuff that matters.
Having the best interest in mind for another individual, regardless of whether you see the fruits of that labor or if somebody else does, or if there's never any fruit of it. I think what you're talking about right now is, it's like, it should be our mission as humans to look at, because we have no idea what will happen years down the road, the kind of impact that you can have. Well, as you're navigating these leadership situations, whether it be difficult conversations with individuals or staff or parents, just anything in general, who's helped you, mentors along the way that have helped you kind of be a sounding board or be a sounding board for you?
So I would, of course, my mom, right? So moms are great. My mom has been a great sounding board, even just to listen or be there. Jan Baker, who's also in leadership, she has been a great sounding board, and she's just very practical and very, we always say she doesn't talk much, but when she does, people listen. And so she's that type of a person. And my staff here, especially the staff I work with on a day in and day out basis, I'll come to them with an idea and they'll say, Tami, that's crazy. Let's think about how it fits in our mission and our strategic plan. Or they'll say, man, that's a really great idea. Let's take that and run with it. And I really appreciate that honesty and transparency. Same with our board members. I can go and say, hey, just help walk me through this and what this would look like for our organization. And they'll be like, yeah, that's great. Or let's think about this in a different way. Back in education, it was my staff, the assistant principal that I would work with. They're your go-to and your person, your safe space. And so having a really strong team around you is so important. Cannot emphasize that enough, because they're your people and you're making these decisions together. And if you want to go far, go with the team.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, that's got to be, some of this has got to be influenced by not just the people that you're around, but then also some material that you read in the past. And leaning into, you say you don't have a lot of time for book reading.
Yeah.
I'm a huge reader. I do have some time to do some reading myself.
Yeah.
Do you have some favorite books?
I do. So I just finished Lessons in Chemistry. So I say that reading for fun. I mean, reading for fun and not feeling like I should be reading a peer-reviewed article for a paper. But just read Lessons in Chemistry. Great book, phenomenal book. It's about a woman who is a chemist, and she in the 50s, and she's having to fight for going through the struggles, right? The exhausting struggles of being a woman in a man's world at that time, and just wanting to be taken serious as a woman. And it's funny, and it's just a really good book. And right now, I like to read autobiographies too. So I have to finish David Kroll's book. I've got a whole bunch on deck, but I like to read motivational, of course. Anything by Simon Sinek is great read. A lot of great information out there. Trying to think of some of the last ones that I read that were not connected to a dissertation.
Well, you
Which
mentioned,
would bore you to tears. So.
well, you mentioned Simon Sinek. All right.
Yeah,
Start with
yeah.
why. What's your why?
Yeah, my why is I feel like I was put on this earth to give kids opportunities to be great people and to fulfill their dreams. As cliche as that may sound, I just feel like I'm a kid at heart. I do not feel like I'm 43 years old. I feel like 15, 12-year-old Tami all the time. I just feel like if it wasn't for the opportunity, like my parents, they worked really hard. And my mom, she worked at JCPenney's and she would work all the time. And they did what they did so that they could provide me with every opportunity possible. We lived in apartments, and I knew that money was tight for them, but they busted their rear ends so that I could have braces, so I could be in cheerleading, so I could play violin. And just seeing their sacrifice, I want to be able to provide opportunity for other kids, because those are the things that will shape their future. So youth is really important in giving them opportunities to travel and to listen to guest speakers and to go to Genesis products and see how things are made, or watch the robots at L&W Engineering, which is really awesome, by the way. So those are the things they will remember as adults, and those are the things that will spark something that give them ideas as to what they want to do with their future. And you want people to find careers that fulfill them. Because if you go to work and it feels like work, that's not great. I don't feel like I'm coming to work every day. And that's really important. And I just love kids. Love being with them. Excited to hopefully see kids during the eclipse today. Yeah, so it's just kids are great. And I feel that's just my mission, and that's my purpose in life. So
It's a good why.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you feel like you're a 15-year-old Tami still.
Yeah.
Well, what would you say to a 15-year-old Tami?
Seriously, I would say don't skip school as much as you did. Mom, I wasn't skipping school. So she knew. Don't skip school, be present. I did not know where I fit in high school. And if you grow up and you start to find yourself, and I would say to my 15-year-old self, don't care what other people think about you. Like, be your own person. I did a lot of sitting back and watching others and learning from that. So I would tell myself to keep doing that. And I don't know that I was a part of a group of people. I had friends from all different, and I learned a lot. I learned a lot. High school, man, we all learn a lot, right?
Yes.
15-year-olds. So, but I would also, I wouldn't change a thing. So I'd be careful in what I tell my 15-year-old self, other than skipping school. But I don't think I would change a thing, or I wouldn't be right here where I am now.
So a couple of fun questions as we conclude.
Yeah.
What is one purchase under $100
I thought about this
in the last few months that's just been a game changer?
Do you want a serious answer?
I want your answer.
Okay, so I bought a gallon of paint and paint supplies and decided to paint my bathroom, the master bathroom. That's my bathroom because I own the closet. Brian gets a spare bedroom closet. But I decided to paint it black. And I absolutely love it. So that was my Saturday project. It was under $100, and just that one change, that's like a whole new house. Like just that one change. And I only painted one big wall black, but yeah, just that one little change, it brings joy, and it was fun to listen to music and just paint. It was great. And so I would say that is the most recent purchase of $100 that has made a big impact. And it's just something soothing, I think, just painting and making a change. As
Was that
ridiculous
solar
as that
eclipse
might.
inspired?
No, it was
No.
not. It was not. I actually went to Living in Yellow in Middlebury. So there's plug, shout out to them, great boutique. And their bathroom is black. And I was like, this is awesome. And so I decided I'm going to do it in my house. And it's not the first thing I've painted black. And Brian's always like, what are you doing? It's just trust me. So, and he does. It's just paint.
It's just paint.
You just paint it a different color if you don't like it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, as silly as that may sound,
Alrighty.
that was the most recent.
Well, what about a billboard message?
A billboard message. Oh, goodness. Who's the audience? All of Elkhart County.
No, anybody.
Anybody?
Your billboard. It can be whatever town you want it in, as many signs as you want. But one message.
Man, that's a tough one.
I know.
Because you don't want to get it wrong.
And we're going to come back. We're going to come back to the failure question too,
yeah.
by the way.
Yeah. Billboard. Gosh. Man, this is going to sound really cheesy.
That's fine.
But if we would spend as much time loving one another and supporting and lifting each other up instead of hating one another and finding ways and reasons to pick people apart, put your energy into love. That's what I would want my
Ooh,
billboard
that's
to
good.
say.
Put your energy into love.
Yeah, that's what it would say. Big heart.
With a big heart. That's great.
Yeah.
Favorite failure?
Favorite failure. Without getting too in the weeds, I would say I made a decision in a leadership role that I thought was best at the time. And it rolled pretty well until it fell apart. And I think falling apart and having to reflect on why I made the decision I did and where I went wrong in my decision, that reflection piece made it my favorite failure. And being able to learn from it to never do it again. And it's moving too fast. And so again, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with your team. So that would be my favorite failure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to, in my last career, even now I think about it, I put a sign behind my computer desk, capital letters, slow down.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
I needed that much of a reminder.
Yeah.
Because I made mistakes along the way.
My word of the year is focus.
Okay.
So, yeah. Slow down.
Slow
focus.
down.
Were
Great.
you a D on the disc model?
Split 50-50 with an I and a D.
I am, well, yeah. I have the I, but I'm a D too. So we have to remember to slow down.
Yes.
Yeah.
Last question.
Yeah.
What is the kindest thing someone's done for you?
Oh my gosh. Given me grace. And so, or stepped in to help with Ethan. I cannot, without, I'm going to get all emotional, but when you have a child like Ethan, the little things that people take for granted, like being able to go to the grocery store and not worry about who's going to watch your child so you can do that. My neighbor right now is willing to come over and watch Ethan a couple mornings here in a couple weeks just so that I can go to work. So that, I almost made it. But yeah, that's the type of thing that's, touches my core.
Isn't it amazing when you think about the kindest things that people give to you? It's a lot of it comes down to just time.
Mm-hmm.
They give you their time.
You're right. You're right.
It's nothing material. It's just time.
Yeah. You're right. My friend who's watched Ethan since October just so that I could go to work wants nothing in return. So you're right. It's time.
Well, if there's anything, any final thoughts here about whether it's the club or just a message to young leaders, anything that you want to just share?
Set your mind to something and go after it. Keep pushing forward even when things are tough and you feel like you don't have the energy to do one more thing. And Yeah, love one another. Stop tearing each other down and just work together with people. And put your energy into love.
And put your energy into
Put
love.
your energy into love. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for doing this.
Thanks for having me.
It's been a joy. I always enjoy getting together with you.
Yeah, you too.
So
You too.
take a look at the Boys and Girls Club of Elkhart County. We'll put some links on the podcast here for you guys to check into them. I'm sure there's plenty of ways to get plugged in.
Absolutely.
I'm sure there's a need.
Yes, there
Plenty
are
of
many
needs.
different needs. Yeah.
But until next week, thank you for joining us on the Pathless Travel Podcast here with Tami Hicks. Have a great day.